Greetings, audience and viewers. My name is Ida Bagus Putra Siddhartha. Today I want to present about metallurgies, more specifically about mechanical properties and strengthening mechanism. So this is my profile. The reference book. For this presentation, I use one book for the reference. It's Metallurgy for the Non-Metallurgists, has been edited by Arthur C. Reardon. About the main subjects, we talk about two main subjects, mechanical properties and strengthening mechanism. So let's start about the mechanical properties. The concept of the mechanical properties. Mechanical properties describe the relationship between the stresses acting on material and the resulting deformation the material undergoes as a result of these applied stresses. The concept of stress in its most general form is a force or load divided by the area over. When a force or a combination of force are applied to material, the material responds by deforming or straining, often in a complex manner. For the example, when it's a bungee jumpers, when the bungee jumpers hop off the platform, the bungee cord stretches dramatically, and at the same time, its cross-sectional area decreases. Under normal circumstances, the bungee cords safely prevent the jumper from hitting the ground below. While this example describes a type of deformation that is readily visible, often the deformation of this type cannot be observed this easily, but it does still take place. Then we have some types of mechanical properties. The different type of tests which use an applied force can be employed to measure other mechanical properties as well. Additional examples of such properties included the elastic modulus, hardness, fatigue resistance, and fracture toughness. These are described sequentially in more detail. And then I have a list about this type. So first one we have hardness as a measure or resistance to indentation. Then linear elastic constant that related to strain under tensile, compressive, and shear loads. Yield strength under tensile, compressive, and shear load, indicating the stress level required for the onset of permanent plastic deformation. Ultimate strength included under tensile, compressive, and shear load that indicating the maximum engineering stress that the material can withstand without fracture. Ultimate tensile strength, or UTS, typically is associated with the onset of necking of tension test specimen. Fatigue strength, indicating the level of cyclic stresses that cause fracture due to metal fatigue over time. Impact toughness, indicating energy absorption from loads that cause a very high strain rate or impact. Fracture toughness, indicating resistance to fracture with pre-existing flow or stress racers in the geometry of part. High temperature, creep deformation and stress return, where high temperature cause metal to permanently deform as a function of time. Then damping properties and wear resistant properties. That's all about mechanical properties. Then we talk about the second point, strengthening mechanism. This one, let's talk about the definition. The underlying structure of metal and alloy, be it macrostructure and microstructure, have an important bearing on their strength, ductility, and toughness. Strength of material can be improved and in a various way, as described in the following section. For example, a microstructure with finer grain typically results in both higher strength and superior toughness compared to the same alloy with physically larger grains. Other strengthening mechanisms are achieved at the expense of lower ductility and toughness. Thus, there may also be trade-off between strength and ductility. depending on the material, the application, and the microstructural mechanism of strengthening. And in this point, we have some point too that we can talk about it. So the first one, let's talk about the solid strengthening. The solid strengthening, solid solution strengthening is a mechanism that increases the strength of a metal through the careful addition of specific alloying element, the application of substitutional and or interstitial alloying element produces a strength in crystalline lattice of the half solid structure because the solid atom typically have a different size than the host atom. As you can see, as the image that you can see it in the presentation. This is this one that has a small substitution atom, and this one is interferential atom, and this one has the large substitutional atom. And then we talk about the effect of grain size. The definition: grain boundaries are effective obstacle to slip because the slip location in the lattice of individual grains cannot easily cross the higher energy grain of grain boundaries. Instead, this location are blocked and piled up at the grain boundaries. Thus, grain boundaries provide a source of strengthening by pitting in of this location. One grain small grain material also that graphical servings of the more sensitive material process of grain boundaries for strengthening. Talk about grain size. Increasing the grain size also is effective way to increase the ductility. When grain size is reduced, there are more grains with the greater number or arbitrarily aligned slip plane for the dislocation in the grain. This provides more opportunity for some slip to occur in stressed material. Thus, grain refinement provides an important means to improve not only strength but also ductility and toughness. Many other strengthening mechanisms are achieved at the example of ductility and toughness. Fracture resistance also generally improve with reduction in grain size because the crack formed during the deformation, which are the precursors to those causing fracture, may immediately inhibited inside the grain diameter. Then we talk about cold working. So cold working in definition if a metal is deformed at room temperature or up to approximately 1.3 TM, where TM is the melting point on the absolute temperature scale. The process of to cold working, also known as work hard energy, work hard or strain hard during cold work. Annealing is often employed as an intermediate step in cold working process to reduce the internal stress in the material and increase its ductility so that it can undergo further cold working without introducing producing microscopic when some of the recrystallized grain ground at the expense of other recrystallized grain. Strain hardening parameters. Deformation during cold working begin in the grain interiors. Once deformation is initiated, the moving dislocation in the grain interact with each other and with the grain boundaries. This may continue yielding or deformation more difficult. And the next, I want to talk the point that has led back to Dr. Wilm's mystery. Okay, so the good doctor discovered a process now known as a solution heat treating and natural aging. He also designed an alloy duralumin suitable for strengthening by this process in what is known now as a precipitation hardening. To explain, recall that Dr. Wilm subject duralumin to elevated temperature and then rapidly cooled the alloy back to room temperature. The strength of the alloy then increased over time naturally at room temperature. Neutron resolution of transmission electron microscope. The first experimental discovery of coherent precipitates occurred independently from X-ray diffraction studies by Andre Junior and G. Preston in 1928. The result of coherent precipitation hardening referred to as Junior, Preston, or G. Bison. The basic stage of precipitation hardening are illustrated in this picture with hardness plotted against time. The increase in hardness with time is now known as precipitation hardening or edge hardening. So in this image we have three zones. Let's talk about in zone 1. In zone 1, submicroscopic precipitated particles are being formed as the alloy attempt to react equilibrium solid on liquid through the solvent lattice and segregate to form a few very small particles. A state in with solid are grouped or rearranged so they can begin to form a precipitate. This results in a slight increase in hardness. And then we talk about in zone 2, the maximum hardness is reached. The solid atom precipitates or second phase dispersion that are not particularly thermally stable. Hardening due to the formation of martensite. Martensite is a non-equilibrium phase process. Crystal structures that form during magnetic transformation orderly movement of many atoms change the lattice structure of atom in a BCT crystal structure. So that's for my last point. Yeah, and so that's my presentation. Thank you for still stay till the end of the video. And sorry if there's some misunderstanding words or there's some words that is not good for to hear. So that's all from me. Thank you.